Hi, I'm Elliott Chenger, and this is Ask a Developer. Today's question comes from Robert, and he asks, how do I write contextually aware software for wearables? That's a great question, Robert. Wearables are becoming more prevalent in our day-to-day lives. It's even thought that by 2018, wearables will sell 112 million units worldwide. This means plenty of opportunity for developers to help enrich and better their users' lives. But just having these devices is only one piece to the puzzle. To increase the viability of wearables, developers need to find a way to make these devices and software more autonomous, easy to understand, and better guiding their users with concrete steps. First, decide which data you are capturing. More devices are connected than ever, and companies are increasingly opening up their data for developers' use. Devices like air conditioning units, televisions, cars, and our mobile devices allow us access into data that can help us get a better understanding of our users to help them with their day-to-day. Also, don't forget that there are people who far better understand what this data means. Depending on your target audience, you could easily reduce your time to market by involving people from relevant industries to help validate use cases and make your app smarter. Because your data source will come from other devices or services, understanding how to interface with a third-party API is the next important concept to understand. API docs and sites like Stack Overflow are useful for understanding the intricacies of APIs. However, sometimes it's just important to experiment with the API yourself. Hands-on experience differs greatly than API docs, which are sometimes out of date. An important part of learning the APIs you are using is also writing tests around them. In combination with continuous integration server, these tests will let you know when the update to API breaks your app, as well as, more importantly, it helps you better understand their limits. Next, understanding how you're going to cache or store the data you need is a very important part to creating a flawless user experience. Let your requirements help you derive criteria for storage. Third-party libraries like DiskLRU Cache help maintain data that needs to be accessed quickly by caching data that is used more frequently than others. The items that are accessed the least will be purged as needed, thus keeping the data that is most important to the user. Storage mechanisms like MySQLite or DB4.0 help us store mass amounts of data more permanently. These methods are good for storing information that you won't be accessing frequently and is better for raw data. Last but not least is user input and output. Because we're creating an experience for an individual, write software that learns about the user before making suggestions. Sometimes the mass amounts of data can be understood better by understanding what your users' needs are and what they consider actionable items. Don't flood them with questions every time they open the app or continually push notifications to them throughout the day. Remember that the data you have is time and contextually sensitive, and providing information to the user that they can use immediately will help build their trust in your software, while miscues can drastically affect retention. That's it for this Ask a Developer. Tweet your questions with #AskADev or leave them in the comments below.